Yo, what's up, my fellow virgins? Today, we're about to react to the fighting business, how to quickly become the most hated fighter in the UFC. You know, we always got to react to the fighting business all the time when they come out with some. They already got Ian Gary at the at the top of the video, so we already know how this is about to be. Let's get right into this motherfucker. You feel me?
Survey by Virgin Money in 2007 claimed that to capture Premiership star's eye and then keep him from playing away for the first year, aspiring wags must invest around £50,000.
What is a wag? WAGs is an acronym used to refer to wives and girlfriends of high-profile sportsmen. I didn't know what a WAG was a few months ago, and I'm pretty sure y'all didn't either.
I don't talk about it, because this ain't my first rodeo.
But now we do. In fact, this meme shall forever live on in the MMA community, and we have Ian Machado Gary to thank. The real kicker here is the time. A few months ago, Ian Gary was a respectable prospect, no doubt talented, already compared to the sport's biggest name and very clearly backed by the promotion.
Ian is a very confident, he looked damn good.
Gary, if everything went well, was on a fast track to superstardom. As you probably know by now, it didn't.
Gary, I think you're a dumbass fucking kid who got some pussy that was too good for him and it got in his head and it fucked you up. I look at you like a victim.
Through Ian Gary's story, we shall learn.
Sean Strickland, I look at you as a victim. Yo.
Educate ourselves and go over a very important tutorial. How to quickly become the most disliked fighter of all time. It might have seemed easy and effortless coming from him, but trust me, this process is much harder than you think. So pay close attention.
Low-key, Bilal Muhammad has to be on this list because, like, he is the first guy I ever seen in my life not get a title shot. That's crazy.
Do not think twice about what you say.
I feel like Izzy lost the fight more than Sean Strickland won the fight.
Let's start false rumors.
Yesterday you said I'm a father. I've been accustomed to that type of beating.
Point the fingers.
Leon's head coach told me that he didn't want me in the match because I was a threat, because he doesn't want his fighter having any doubts or insecurities.
Pick the right woman for you and make sure she brings her ex-husband.
Yo, low-key, she kinda bad.
This is the tutorial you should follow if you'd like to become the next most hated fighter in the world. I mean, if ever becoming the next most hated fighter in the world isn't your thing. I also have like a Patreon and shit where you can...
Bro, we understand this, but every time I get copyrighted because of you, bro, but it's cool.
Find all sorts of other important tutorials. Instead of discussing and telling an audience why a story is big, instead just tell me the story. I already told you about it, right? All of our music playlists, video thumbnails, your name in the credits, and obviously the YouTube SEO breakdowns. Whenever I record these videos, there's like an invisible wall in front of me that we have in between content creator and audience, and I try to break this invisible wall as much as possible. Alright, I'm just throwing it
We're ain't talking business right now, I ain't gonna lie.
out there just in case. Machado, let's get back to you. Irish, knack for talking, good strike.
I ain't calling Machado.
Determined to make it to the top. No brainer that Ian Gary was compared to his fellow Irish fella Conor McGregor as soon as he made his UFC debut.
Hate to make the comparison because they're completely different, but it's very Conor-like.
That's the Conor McGregor of welterweight, they said, and Ian Gary embraced the comparisons. He didn't just view Conor McGregor as some sort of inspiration. He damn near worshipped the guy and wanted to be the exact same sensation that Conor was in his prime.
You reckon we can replicate this in Madison Square Garden again? The flag, the shorts won't be the same, they'll be purple. Those shorts will be purple. We can have the two belts and the flag.
There were some concerns though. When Ian Gary talked, people did sort of listen, but they never remembered for too long.
I am better than everybody. I'm a better fighter than all the guys I've fought. I'm a better fighter than guys in the UFC right now. I can beat guys. I can beat 75% of the UFC welterweight division right now.
The charisma and superstar appeal were lacking, and when he stepped inside the octagon, fans were impressed, but never amazed. That mythical aura of an Irish god reincarnated was just not there. Regardless, Gary remained undefeated in his first 5 UFC bouts, and I don't know, maybe someone, you know who I'm talking about here, convinced him that he had ascended to superstardom and could say and do whatever he wanted.
There's no doubt that it will be exactly how he wants it to be.
Gary believed it. In the pre-fight press conference for UFC 292, Gary made a rather pitiful attempt to emulate Conor McGregor in order to build up his fight with veteran Neil Magny.
You don't do what you're told!
For a bit of context, Magny said something during media day.
And there's a whooping that you give your son now, like to kind of teach him life a little bit.
Gary picked that up as ammunition and just went on and on and on.
What he said was ridiculous. We are tackling a very, very big fucking issue here, mate.
Maybe he was looking to own the press conference, but his shtick drew pin drop silence the first time in a chorus of boos because the guy just did not stop.
He's gonna sit there and he's gonna be quiet. You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. Saying you're gonna lay hands on a fucking child.
Do
Imagine that.
Child.
What the fuck are you talking about? Sit there, shut your mouth, and reflect on what you
This
said.
was an incredibly weird way to build a fight, and during the actual contest, Gary did what most expected him to do against Magny. He easily handled him, but when the bell rang and it came time to give respect, he went one step ahead and further humiliated Magny.
I went out there and I surgically just destroyed him in every aspect. I made that happen. I made what I did tonight was so easy, so clinical.
One fight week, and his reputation plummeted. Gary went from a mostly well-liked prospect to an annoying Conor McGregor wannabe. But that was just the beginning. Just a short while after UFC 292, Ian Gary packed his bags and left Team Renegade.
That's Leon Edwards' brother right there, and he was going crazy on him.
Ian Gary has been kicked out of Team Renegade, which of course is the home gym of the one and only Leon Edwards.
This wasn't an isolated incident. After a bit of research, we found out that Gary was kicked out of more than one gym. Massive red flag. Being kicked out of one gym is a bad look for an MMA fighter, but multiple gyms, there was something wrong here. Maybe he was just an...
I think right now, I think he trains at Charles Oliveira gym. I think Shoot Box, whatever that shit. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Pleasant individual, or maybe he had someone, actually some two, whispering into his ears and telling him that he was the righteous one in all of this.
When he comes in, he bring his camera with him, bring his girlfriend with him. The coaches and the team decided that your culture doesn't fit our culture. And
Ian Gary was public enemy #1 after UFC 292 and the Team Renegade kickout, and the MMA world started to focus on the people around him. There was a certain someone always next to him, and the online fans started digging for details. Then the MMA content creators went wild, with a new Ian Gary humiliation video popping up every damn day.
Things just got a lot weirder when it comes to the Ian Gary situation.
Yo, Ian Machado Gary has to miss on that press conference.
Ian Gary, she wrote the book!
Ian Gary is quickly becoming public enemy #1.
Murphy's Law dictates that anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and Ian Gary is living proof.
Eventually, the outrage drew the attention of newly crowned middleweight champion Sean Strickland.
Sean Strickland over the weekend decided to give the business to Ian Machado Gary.
This was such a pressing matter that Strickland made a video while shirtless and probably driving back home from a gym session.
There's something about that woman that ain't fucking right. The way she walked, the way she looked, the way she talked, I knew it. Now I'm finding out you're 26, she's fucking 40, the ex-fucking husband lives with you, you took the last name, motherfucker, she wrote a book on how to be a wag. I didn't even know what a wag was until now, dude.
And that short Instagram video, Sean cautioned the younger fighter to stay away from Layla and kickstart the mission, save Ian Gary. In response, Ian and his team decided to lawyer up and threaten Sean Strickland with a defamation lawsuit. A fighter suing another fighter. The floodgates of mockery and hatred opened.
You're giving me Kobe Covington vibes, man.
Up yet again, and this time around, Ian Gary completely drowned. Pure, unadulterated hate, volume and intensity off the charts, so much so that
is this whole video about Ian Gary? Is
Ian Gary became a focal point of the upcoming pay-per-view. Gary was set to face Vicente Luque, but also on the card were Leon Edwards and Kobe Covington, two welterweights who had their own issues with Ian. And oh boy, the poor guy was going to get buried alive by Covington in the press conference. But maybe this was exactly what the Machado family was hoping for. If Ian showed up with swagger, flipped off the audience, and went to verbal war with Kobe, he would have solidified himself as a key player in the welterweight division for years. Hell, knowing the current UFC brass, the guy would have been fast-tracked to a title shot with just one more win. Show up, complete the biggest heel turn in recent memory, and laugh all the way to the bank. Ian posted one video on his Instagram to inform everyone of his grand arrival. The emergence of the biggest heel in the industry was upon us, and it would all begin at media day. But then...
this happened.
Okay. ESPN interview?
No.
He would at least show up to the press conference, right?
Ian Gary started with the flu that turned into pneumonia. So that fight is off and is not happening. It is true.
Never mind.
For all the people out there
How many of you guys have fucked Ian Gary's wife? Oh man. Wow.
I guess that's where it ends. For months, and Ian Gary has gone through an internet slaughter of the worst kind. Fans, content creators, fighters, even his own friends have buried and stomped the guy into the cold dirt, dug him back out, only to do it all over again, even worse than before. Per Ariel Helwani, Ian Gary was brought to the hospital with pneumonia, and if that is true,
how the fuck do Ariel Helwani know all this shit like so fast? Like, what the fuck? Dana White don't even fuck with this nigga no more. How do he know these things?
I wish him a speedy recovery, but you know the level of hate is staggering when you open up his Instagram account and you don't see a single comment wishing him well. We've seen young prospect crash and burn in pursuit of becoming the next Conor McGregor, and Ian Gary started his journey with the same thought in mind, but as time went on, it devolved into something far worse. Hoping to become the next Conor McGregor, this Irish striker instead established himself as the one and only, at least we all hope so, Ian Machado Gary.
Yeah. Damn, bro. My man's got his wife last name. That's some shit, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. That is some shit.